Welcome to the Busy Latter-day Saint, where righteous desires and living life come together. Here, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints discuss their challenges and successes in studying the Scriptures, and where listeners come to learn more about studying the Scriptures. I'm your host, Richard Bernard. The music for this program is by Marvin Goldstein and used with his permission. If you have enjoyed this podcast, I encourage you to comment on this episode or the podcast in general. To leave a comment, click on the link in the show notes. I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast to be informed when a new episode has been posted. If you enjoy this podcast and have benefited from it, I encourage you to start donating a few dollars to the General Missionary Fund each month. A question I often receive is, how do I use notebooks in the Gospel Library? The first thing to understand about notebooks is that a notebook does not need to be coupled with any content. It can be, but it's not necessary, which is not true with tags and notes. Secondly, within a notebook, you can create notes, and those notes are also free of being attached to content. But there's more. You can also send a note that is connected to a notebook. So in a notebook, you can have notes and notes. Confused? Welcome to the club. To clear up the confusion from now on, notes that are not attached to content and created in a notebook are called pages. With that cleared up, let's get back to the first statement. Notebooks and pages are not attached to content. For example, I have had some users tell me that they use a notebook titled Church Meetings in the notebook and create a page for each meeting. I have a notebook that contains only my patriarchal blessing and another my personal revelations. Notebooks can also contain a combination of notes and pages. For example, I create talks and lessons in notebooks, and they contain a mixture of notes and pages. I suggest you keep notebooks to a minimum. Use tags to find content and notebooks to research, plan, and create talks and lessons, except for single documents like a patriarchal blessing. This is to avoid having a notebook and a tag with the same name. And then you're wondering, is it in tags? Is it in notebooks? As mentioned previously, keep the notebooks to a minimum. I don't save my lessons and talks unless I am a missionary or serving on the High Council. Otherwise, I delete them. My reasoning is that each talk I write is through the Spirit for that specific audience, and the same holds true for lessons. Perhaps you feel different on this matter, and if you do, I'd love to hear from you. I hope this short episode gets you started thinking about notebooks in the Gospel Library.